What up guys, this is Jim Fields from Greater China Tech, and today I want to make an episode that I've been planning for a long time, which is about emoji. So when a friend in China sends you an emoji, what do they actually mean? Today that's what I want to figure out. So I decided that I would post a picture of a popular emoji, which is a smiley face, onto my Moments feed, which is sort of like the news feed on Facebook for my WeChat account, and see what my friends said and see if they could explain to me what this common smiley face actually means. So here we go. The first one from one of my good friends in Japan says, someone's not really willing to do something. And after that they said, someone doesn't want to say something. The second post that I got from another friend of mine says, "呵呵的意思." So if someone tells you a joke that's a bad joke, you can say, "呵呵." It means that you're laughing, but you actually don't think the person said something funny. The third comment from my friend Will says, if an old person sends, I'm smiling. But if a younger person sends, FML, which means F my life. So again, not in a positive meaning, particularly for younger people. A good friend of mine named Huang Wen, he says the smiley face means okay, fine, interesting, or WTF. Now, following from that, we have another comment that says just like, and they're actually using the doge face. So here it's interesting, people are using other emojis to explain the meaning of the first emoji. And the final comment is from Helen, who is my amazing Chinese teacher in Shanghai. Hi, Helen. And she says, my reaction to this smiley face is negative. This smiling face is a little bit hopeless and reluctant to smile. Overall, not a very positive reaction to what should be a very happy face. As you can see from these reactions, people have very strong reactions to smiley faces. So what do emoji actually mean? Let's take a step backwards into the past and figure out the history of emoji. So what are emojis? The first emojis actually started to appear in the 1990s in Japan, and in the 2010s have recently become a lot more popular as they've started to get integrated into various mobile operating systems. So it's quite interesting because the Oxford English Dictionary in 2015 actually made the tears with joy emoji the word of the year. But the emoji that are available on WeChat, which is the dominant communication platform here in China, are actually different than the ones that are available around the world. So WeChat has a proprietary system within the app where you can scroll through WeChat's pre-selected, pre-created emoji, which are different than the Unicode emoji that are available in devices like the ones you see on iOS or the ones you see on Android. This means that if Apple wanted to add a new emoji to the iPhone, they would actually first need to get it passed through the Unicode system in order to then include it on that device. For WeChat, it's different. If WeChat one day decides they'd like to add a new emoji to the system, they can do so right away. Now, in terms of functionality, on WeChat, you can use both the Unicode emoji that are built into a phone like an iOS device or WeChat emoji, and you can use these two types of emoji interchangeably on your phone. Many emoji on WeChat are very similar to their counterparts on the Unicode system. Some are very different, such as the hey emoji, which actually features two human legs, as you can see here, next to a person's face. So it's a totally different system on WeChat. Because WeChat has these proprietary emojis, it means they can only live within the WeChat ecosystem. So if I take this doge that I have here and bring it to another app, suddenly it becomes doge as text or Wang Chai. You're not going to actually get that doge face. So what makes the usage of emoji different in the East or here in China as compared to the West? As a general rule, I would say that Western emojis are generally used to emphasize or add on to the meaning of a certain phrase or topic, whereas ones in China can actually completely reverse the meaning of a sentence. Another point that I've noticed as a Westerner living in China is that emoji tend to be used a lot more frequently than I would expect. So even in the context of business meetings or situations that I would consider to be quite formal, I often see emoji that are used very frequently by working professionals. And today, I want to look at some of the most interesting and confusing emoji and create a guide for other Westerners like myself to learn about how to actually use and understand these icons and see what they really mean. So the first emoji that I want to talk about today is the doge emoji, the one you see next to me here. So a lot of people have been talking about doge lately because of Dogecoin and Elon Musk appearing on Saturday Night Live. But doge is a symbol that actually has a long history in Asia. And for that reason, it's been integrated into the emoji icon set on WeChat. But what is doge? So in short, doge is a way to indicate that you're being sarcastic to a friend. So if I send a message to someone and say, the weather is so beautiful in the midst of a rainy day, doge would be very appropriate because it's not actually a lovely day to be outside. So if you ever get a message from a friend in China and the doge icon is at the end of the sentence, you should probably be very cautious about assuming what they've just written is how they actually feel. Personally, I think another interpretation of the doge emoji is when you're doing something that someone else might not like very much, but you're doing it anyway. So I've often used the doge emoji in situations where I'm breaking a rule, I'm doing something I know I'm not supposed to. Maybe if I sent a friend a message and I said, hey, I'm eating a bunch of ice cream right before bed, I would also send the doge emoji. So I know that I'm doing something wrong, I know that it's a little bit naughty, I know that I shouldn't, but I'm doing it anyway. If I am, I'm sending the doge emoji you'll see right here. So the next emoji that I want to talk about is the chigua emoji, or the watermelon eater. And this is an icon that you'll see here of a person who's eating a big hunk of watermelon. So I didn't originally know what this one meant, and I had to do some research to figure it out. I lived in Beijing from 2009 until 2018, and I used to live in the Hutong. So I would often see older men and women walking around eating big pieces of watermelon, and I just thought it was a symbol and representation of a happy person eating watermelon. This is not the case. So for other Westerners, you need to understand that they're actually watching some sort of conflict or argument take place. So imagine a scenario where there's two people in front of you, they're fighting, they're arguing, they're having some sort of disagreement, and you're sitting off to the side just enjoying your big, juicy piece of watermelon. We have a similar expression in the West, which is sort of like if you see an argument online on a forum or similar website, you could eat popcorn, you break out the popcorn and eat it. Similar idea here, if you're in a group chat with two people who are arguing and you don't want to participate and you just want to watch the spectacle, break out your watermelon, start enjoying it, and share this emoji. Now, the next emoji I want to talk about is the emoji. And you'll see that here. This is a face that to me looks a little bit like Homer Simpson because there's this sort of stubbled facial hair around the mouth. This is an interesting emoji that also took me a while to understand. So if you find yourself in a situation or a conversation where someone sends you a message and you don't know how to respond, the easiest way to respond is sending back a The indication of this is that you don't know what you want to say next, you don't really feel comfortable with what the person is talking about, and the only thing that you can do is send this sort of uncomfortable, sleepy, tired looking face. So basically, if you're in that type of situation, use this emoji. So as I said before, emoji and WeChat are constantly changing. And in November of 2020, Tencent actually released 6 new emoji onto the platform. So I'll put these 6 emoji here. Most of them speak for themselves, but there's one for Westerners that might be a bit confusing. So you'll see that there's a face looking to the side with this sort of hang loose gesture and the number 666 next to that face. So for Westerners, 666 is seen as being a number that's associated with Satan or the devil. However, here in China, 666 or liu 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 is actually an expression that connotes something very favorable or good or formidable or popular. So you imagine a situation where two people are playing a video game and one person makes a move that the other person highly approves of. They could say, liu liu liu, that's very cool. So they've taken this verbal expression and this hand gesture of liu 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 and brought it into the WeChat ecosystem. But let's come back to the smiley. So we began this video by putting the smiley on my Moments feed and seeing what my friends thought. And I want to dig into the smiley and give some tips to other Westerners who are trying to interpret and understand what it means when they receive this smiley face. So I think the smiley can be broken down basically into age demographics. And for me, the line in the sand is about 1985. If you're talking to somebody who was born before 1985 and they send you the smiley face, you should feel good. They're indicating that they like you, that they're happy, that they're expressing a positive emotion about whatever it is you're talking about. So you should feel very pleased and relaxed that they're sending you this smiley, happy face. For people who are born after 1985, you should be highly concerned. So the smiley face in China somehow has taken on a completely different meaning than the one you might see in the West. For those who are born after 1985, be very cautious both when you use the smiley, but also when you receive it, because it really might not mean something positive at all. But what if you have a friend who's born in 1985? You might need to make some new friends. One other tip for Westerners when texting in China beyond just using emoji is about the use of punctuation. So going backwards to the beginning of emoji in Japan, they were originally built using punctuation marks, whether it's colons, commas, semicolons put together to create faces. Emojis began by using punctuation to make faces. And there's one piece of punctuation in China that continues to be used today, which is called the squiggly line, or as you can see here, in Chinese called the 波浪号. So this wavy dash, or 波浪号, is basically used to soften a statement. So if you're sending a message to someone who's close to you, or a client, or somebody that you want to kind of create a favorable impression with, you can add the squiggly line after your statement just to soften the statement a little bit. If you, for instance, send a message to someone you're interested in dating and say, hey, could I get you a hot chocolate? You could add the squiggly line at the end just to give it a little bit of a softer, gentler, less direct vibe. So as I mentioned before, emoji are always changing in response to popular culture. And recently, in March of 2021, WeChat again updated the emoji set with some brand new icons. So there were 6 changes to the emoji set that happened, and there's 3 that I really want to talk about today. Overall, I would say they're trying to find ways to make the emoji set a little bit more friendly and a little bit less scary. And the first change they made, this is the old icon and this is the new icon you'll see here, was to remove the cigar from the face of the soldier icon. So China has been doing a major initiative to reduce the amount of people who are smoking in the country, and for that reason they decided to remove the cigar from the person's mouth, and as you'll see, create this new emoji icon where there's a soldier who's no longer smoking a cigar. So good work. The second change, also in line with making things a little bit less scary and violent, was starting with this older icon, which you'll see here, which is a bloody machete, into this new icon, which is just a nice, clean, tai-dao knife. It's still a little bit scary from someone if you receive a knife emoji, but it's certainly not as scary as one where there's blood or something that looks like blood, as in the previous icon. And the third change that was made in March that I think is quite funny was from this icon. So the previous icon you'll see here is one of a person who's getting hit in the head with a hammer, and now it's been changed to a frying pan that actually has a boiling or cooking egg directly in the center. And I actually think getting hit in the head with a heated frying pan would actually have a much worse result than being hit with a hammer. So I'd argue that this is a little bit more violent of an emoji, but you get the picture. It's something that's more cartoonish and funny, as opposed to something that might actually be a little bit dangerous. So again, here in March, emoji have already changed once this year. I'm very interested to see what future changes might happen with emoji during the rest of 2021. So you guys might wonder why Greater China Tech is doing an episode about emoji, but again, we're always trying to find ways to interpret the ways people use technology and how technology can change human lives. Because we spend so much time now interacting with digital devices, we need to find ways to communicate our personhood, our personality, and our emotions to people who we're communicating with. And we think emoji are a very powerful, but also impactful way to do so. So for fans of our channel, we're curious to know, number 1, what's your favorite emoji? You can let us know in the comments below. And what emoji would you like to add to the WeChat system? Are there emotions, ideas, and thoughts you have about different emojis you would like to add? If so, definitely let us know below. We'll see if we can get in touch with our friends at Tencent and get some new emojis added to the system. So that's all for this week. This is Jim Fields from Greater China Tech. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Peace.